Hello, everyone, and welcome to another author conversation. I am Navya from White Falcon Publishing, and today I have the privilege of speaking with an extraordinary woman whose work beautifully combines strength, reflection, grace, and self discovery. Joining us today is Dr. Sazina Khan, author of She Walked Away, a collection of poems. This collection is a lyrical exploration of courage, self trust, and the quiet power of moving forward without waiting for permission. Through deeply evocative poems with titles such as Permissionless, Grace, Unrequested, The Yes I Gave Myself, and Becoming Without Allowance, Dr. Khan captures the journey of a woman who chooses growth over hesitation and authenticity over approval. Beyond being an internationally acclaimed author, Dr. Sazina Khan is an educational leader, founder of UAE Book Forum, international speaker, award winning mentor, and a voice that continues to inspire readers across the world. So, ma'am, it's an absolute pleasure to have you with us today. Before we begin, I want you to introduce yourself and share a little bit about your journey as a writer. Please, ma'am.
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm Dr. Sazina Khan, an educator, author, a poet, mentor, and a lifelong learner based in UAE. I currently serve as a university faculty member and a senior outreach manager at Westwood University College. Alongside my educational pursuit and leadership journey, I'm also a bestseller author with 8 poetry collections through which I explore the themes of resilience, healing, womanhood, courage, and self discovery. My journey has always been rooted in the belief that words can heal, education can transform, and every individual carries a story that is worth telling and listening and honoring. Through my work as educator, speaker, writer, and mentor, I aim to inspire people, especially women and young learners, to find their voice, embrace their worth, and continue walking with courage and grace.
Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. Let's move on with the questions now. Ma'am, my first question from you is one thing that stayed with me throughout the collection is that courage is portrayed very differently from how we usually imagine it. There are no grand declaration or dramatic moments, just quiet resistance. So, what first drew you to writing about the quieter form of courage?
I've always been drawn to courage that does not seek witness. The world often recognizes bravery when it comes with a spectacle, when it is dramatic, victorious, and visibly heroic. Yet, my experience is the most enduring form of courage is when it's soundless. They live in a women who gets up again without anyone else to love, even after getting disappointed, in the dream that survives rejection. In the soul that chooses a moment, even when you are disappointed, you're not absent. She Walked Away was an attempt to honor that quieter nuances, that intimate bravery, but also assuring that a daily endurance, which all of us need, not by the courage of conquest, but in continuation. I wanted to write about the sacred strength of those who are always not appearing to be fearless, but walking despite having that fear of failure, but not being defeated.
Okay, thank you for the answer. Okay. Talking about the title, She Walked Anyway, is incredibly powerful. It suggests movement despite uncertainty, despite hesitation, and perhaps despite resistance. Was there a particular experience or realization that inspired this title and the central idea behind the collection?
The title emerged from a profound understanding that life rarely waits for us to be completely ready before asking us to move forward. Many of us walk while carrying questions, wound, grief, responsibility, fragments of unfinished healing. The phrase she walked away carries within it the tension, the resistance, and resilience. It acknowledges everything that could have been stopped her, that could have paused her to question and to stop moving. But without being fearless, she still had the courage to be judged, to be fearless, to be silent, to be betrayed by people, but still She did not question, or she did not self doubt, or she did not fail to exhaustion. She moved. The word anyway is deeply significant to me because it also holds the entire emotional architecture of the book. It is not denial, it is not pretense, it is a quiet declaration that even if the world withholds the clarity, approval, or ease, a woman can still choose to becoming her own self, which she wanted to.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's beautiful. Okay, moving on to the next question. So many of the poem titles revolve around permission, approval, and validation. It almost feels as though the collection is having a conversation with those ideas. So, at what point in your journey did you stop waiting for permission and begin trusting your own voice?
I believe the moment from seeking permission to trusting one's own self is not a single moment of arrival, but a long and often painful apprentice with the self. For years, like many women, I understood what is meant to measure your own worth and also seeking some kind of external acceptance or affirmations, to be conscious of expectations, rules, judgments, invisible conditions of approval. But as life evolves, as you move forward, as you travel, as you seek more qualifications, it teaches you a lot. And that knowledge has changed my perspective over a period of time. At some point, I've realized that voice does not become valid because the world applauds it. It becomes more powerful when it's honest. So that honesty, that integrity has to be there as a essence. So she walked away speaks of that place of inner authority, authenticity. And I am not allowed begins with affirmation. I'm already enough to begin.
That's actually such a powerful realization, and I think many readers, especially women, will connect deeply with that experience. Okay, next question. Ma'am, you have achieved remarkable success in multiple fields like education, leadership, literature, and public speaking, yet the poems feel very vulnerable and introspective. When you write poetry, do you approach the page differently from the way you approach your professional life?
Absolutely. My professional life often requires structure, clarity, leadership, strategy, and composure. It asks me to stand in places where decisions must be made, responsibilities must be carried. Like strength must be visible. Poetry, however, asks something that is entirely different of me. It does not ask me to lead. It asks me to listen. It does not ask me to perform certainty. It invites me to honor uncertainty. When I come to the page, I arrive without titles, accolades or public identity. I arrive just as a simple woman, without any acknowledgments, just a mother, a seeker of more knowledge, a soul in conversation with the inner truths, which probably all of us are enticed to. Every single day we do come across situations where we question ourselves. So it is not always about the glorious crowns that I wear outside that you would see, but also something that is the sense of every woman. Poetry is where I, allow the polished exterior exposure to be laid on one side, and then on the other hand to see the authenticity, to see the vulnerability of not being exposed but also acknowledging it over a period of time. The page receives a part of me that the world has not always seen. So you see a different version of me when you see my poetry. It is beyond the titles or beyond the crowns that I hold or beyond the professional accolades that I have received so far. So yeah, poetry is quite meaningful and deeper than acknowledgements that I have received.
Okay, that's fascinating. Moving on to the next question. So, ma'am, throughout the collection, there is a recurring sense of grace, not as perfection, but as quiet strength. So, what does grace mean to you personally, and why was it important for that idea to appear throughout the book?
For me, grace is the dignity with which one carries after being tested. It is not the flawlessness or it is not the absence of pain. Grace is the ability to carry your own wound
Yeah.
without allowing them to harden the spirit of recognition. It is a quite discipline of healing and not always being very cruel to yourself, rising without becoming bitter, and remembering one's worth when life has always attempted to diminish it. In She Walked Away, grace appears to be the form of refined resilience. It is also a collection that shows its strength is not always fearful, or it is not to be fearless, but also to be acknowledging that strength that does not always allow you to be fearful, but at the same time, in your own inner fears, you are evolving as a person. You're becoming more powerful once you have acknowledged your own vulnerability. So that is the essence. And sometimes it is the decision to walk away with peace rather than to remain in that situation and be undone. So, as you grow as a woman, you also learn that not every argument needs your final note. Sometimes it is nice to move away out of that situation because it is for your own peace.
Yeah.
That is something which should take the essence. So, grace to me is the elegance of a soul that has survived and chosen light over just being there in a dismal situation where you might be questioned throughout. So, why would you be there? Just walk out.
Yeah. Sometimes it's better to prioritize your peace than proving yourself or proving your points and opinions, right? So, yeah.
Very right.
Yes. So, okay, ma'am, this is your eighth book, right? And your readers already know your voice through your previous works. So, as a writer, how has your relationship with poetry evolved over the years? Do you feel that She Walked Anyway represents a new chapter in a creative journey?
My relationship with poetry has evolved as I have evolved. I just, in my previous question, I just mentioned that how you evolve when you don't only evolve as a writer over a period of time or age. It is your experiences, it is your travel, it is your professional exposure. Everything contributes to your life journey in one way or another. And especially when I travel to different places and when I meet educators who are like 78 year of age. So probably seeing them and having those connections also allows me to see that how people have evolved over a period of time and how human experiences changes. So that is something that I would say in terms of looking at poetry as a vessel of emotion, a way to hold life when it is made so heavy to carry silently. Over a period of time, it has also become a language of healing. It is not only about merely written poems. I have documented different seasons of human spirit. I would say that. I mean, not that I would compare myself to William Shakespeare, but when he writes the seven stages, and how beautifully he mentions that how different seasons of your life emerges. So I completely resonate with that. And it is quite nice to see that she walked away like a new chapter because it is written from a place of deeper stillness and self possession. It is not to be asked or understood with an urgency. It is to be just having that quiet authority in yourself. Just to see that how do you survive a storm? How do you become recognized as a woman in walking your path? As my eighth book, it carries the maturity of having life lost, learned, rising from your own fears or from being judged by the outside audience. And it also feels like a book that has not been a wound alone, but from a wisdom that has followed every wound that women or anyone would have been exposed to in their life.
That's wonderful. Um, Okay, moving on to the next question. So many readers will see themselves in these poems because they touch on universal experiences like self-doubt, resilience, growth, and becoming. So while writing this collection, was there a poem that surprised you emotionally or revealed something unexpected about yourself?
Yes, several poems surprised me because they begin with mediation on resilience, but gradually they reveal deeper level of self-recognition. There were moments where I felt I was writing about a universal woman, only to realize that I was meeting a quieter version of myself on the page. So some poems reveal the exhaustion of always being appearing strong, as I just previously mentioned, that having those international pageant titles or being an educational leader or being a mentor, you have to fulfill those roles with responsibilities, with authority. But over a period of time, you also understand what is the recurring theme of self permission, allowing yourself to know what you actually want to be. I discovered that becoming is not always about acquiring something new. Sometimes it is also about releasing the selves that we created to be accepted, admired, or understood. Certain poems felt like mirrors. They do not simply ask, "How far have you come?" They asked, "What have you done to leave behind in order to become?"
Isn't it fascinating when writers discover something about themselves through the act of writing? It's it's great.
It is actually like
Yes,
and that is how a writer evolves over a period of time. And that is what you see in your readers as well, because every time you read the same poem, you would discover another layer to it. You would
yes.
discover your own self in a different version.
Yeah, different version, yes. Every time there is a different meaning to every poem when we read, right? There is always a different meaning every time we read, even the poem we have already read. There's always a different meaning, different perspective. Yeah.
Very true. And
Yes.
as you grow, and probably you're in a different phase or you're in a different season of life, as I call, you would see the same poem in a very different perspective. So that's quite enticing to me. That, oh, this poem appeared like this. Like, I mean, yeah.
Yes, okay. So, ma'am, your dedication to your husband is incredibly moving. It speaks of support, belief, and partnership without taking away from the book's message of independence. So, how important has that balance between support and self-discovery been in your own life?
The balance that has been profoundly important to me. It is not always believed that in the truest form of support does not always overshadow a woman's individuality. It strengthens her ability to be stepping into the world she always wanted to be, or she has evolved over a period of time. It strengthens her ability to fully think of what her perspective in life is, irrespective of whichever the situation is, wherever she is. It gives her emotional courage to expand, to attempt, to rise, to fail, to become completely herself. So the dedication to my husband is an expression of gratitude for that kind of belief, the kind of stand beside me, not above, the courage without controlling, that witness without diminishing. She walked away deeply rooted in independence, as you said, nourished or nurtured by the world around you. So, to be supported and still remain sovereign in my own journey is something which is very beautiful and which is balancing. So, that is what I have learned from my personal life and professional life, that it is also about balancing your inner self from what you want to be and what your society wants you to be. So, understanding, not submitting to conformity, but at the same time, having a man by your side who understands you in the terms of, as a listener, understanding your perspective, not trying to subdue you, not trying to control your approach, your viciousness, I would say, in any form.
You have beautifully expressed it, and it actually reminds us that strength and support can coexist rather than, competing with each other, right? Okay, reading through the collection, I kept returning to the idea of becoming. The poem suggests that growth isn't a destination but a continuous unfolding. Do you think becoming is something that ever ends, or is it a lifelong process?
I see becoming as life's most sacred part. When we often imagine the world or the growth has been the final destination, one day we arrive healed. The other day you feel that you're still healing. So that there is a transition that one goes through. But life does not always have a linear path, as we say that my career is on a linear trajectory, right? We always remark that. But life does not remains on a linear path. When we become, we actually have to enjoy through grief, through love, through motherhood, through ambition, through failure, through silence, through choosing what not to be. Becoming is not always dramatic. Sometimes it's quite internal rearrangement of your own ideas, how you perceived your previous self and how you're perceiving it now. Sometimes it is also the courage of not becoming your older self. She walked away, rested in one of the beliefs that does not need you to be completely meaningful. It does not allow you to remain unfinished, but also allows you to be very powerful. So she's allowed to be becoming the still whole.
Okay. Thank you for answering that. And we are at the last question now. So, if a reader closes the final page of She Walked Anyway and carries one feeling or one realization into their own life, what would you hope that would be?
I hope the readers close the book with a renewed tenderness towards themselves. I want them to understand that they do not need to be waiting for the perfect confidence, perfect healing, universal approval, or absolutely certainty before taking the next step. It's okay to be not okay. Life may not always have offered you the most gentle roads, I would say, but it does not always abandon you the way you would have thought it to. If there is always one realization, I hope She Walked Away leaves behind that message: to walk despite fear, to rise despite pain, to appreciate despite being rejected, to remain graceful despite being tested, to understand the bigger nuances of having those smaller rejections is perfectly fine. They're quite revolutions in their own way of spirit. I hope readers remember that journey does not need to be flawless, but it is still worth taking that move. Sometimes the most powerful thing can be just seen through a simple gesture of walking anyway.
I believe readers will definitely take this message from the book. Um, okay, so we are done with the questions now. So, ma'am, I want to thank you for joining us today and for sharing stories, reflections, and emotions behind She Walked Anyway. And it was such an inspiring conversation, and I'm sure our viewers will walk away with so much to think about. And before we conclude, do you like to give a final message to your readers?
Thank you so much for having me create this thoughtful space to speak about my journey, my writing, my emotions behind my work. For me, poetry has always been more than words on page. It's a way of healing, remembering, resisting, and rising. Through She Walked Away and my previous collections, my deepest hope is that the reader finds reflection in their own courage, especially in the moments which feels uncertain, unseen, unheard. I would like to leave everyone with this thought that we do not always need a perfect clarity, perfect strength, perfect circumstance to move forward. Sometimes the most powerful act is just in the simple way of continuing with grace, with faith, and that quiet belief that the world is going to be okay. You are going to be okay. So your story deserves to be unfolded in the way you need to. But for that, you really need to walk anyway. Thank you so much for this beautiful conversation, Navya.
I also want to thank you for taking out the time for us, and it has been an absolute pleasure speaking with you today. And to the viewers, I want to say if today's discussion resonated with you, I highly encourage you to read She Walked Anyway, a collection of poems. It's a beautiful, beautiful, and thought provoking reminder that courage doesn't always announce itself, it simply keeps moving forward. So the book is available on Amazon, Flipkart, and WFP stores. So do pick up a copy, share it with your fellow readers, and join the conversation about courage, self-trust, and the power of becoming. So this is Navya from White Falcon Publishing, and I'll see you in the next author conversation. Thank you all for joining us and for watching us. And at last, I want to say thank you for such meaningful conversation. I really enjoyed it and I really loved your answers.
Thank you so much, Navya. Thank you for all the conversation, beautiful conversation, I must say.
Yes, ma'am, definitely. Thank you.